Hello, everyone. Welcome back to StarSound Speaks, and we are deep into the eclipse season, as we know. I am here back with Katarinah Mazar. Hello, Katarinah. I'm so glad you're here. Hard to do air kiss with a hat. We both been in LA.
New York.
New York, yes. So New York and LA. All right. So what we're talking about here is, I've always, and I'm moving more after 20 years of studying astrology. I'm seeing how important it is to embody astrology. There's a big push out there for that. I'm going to have guests that are going to be talking about this more in depth, but I wanted to get this conversation rolling big time with Katarinah. If you've been a fan of StarSound Speaks, you know that I've interviewed her before on Your Amazing House. You got a lot of talents, girl. Personal, professional organizer, but also very much a mystic, seeing things from different dimensions since she was a child. And what I love is what we're going to talk about today is this, that you had an experience, like a live direct, and you do this all the time with eclipses.
I began in the late 1990s. I reconnected with my relationship to the planets, the sun, the moon, and basically the whole, well, in the early 2000s, I had a mystical experience when I came face to face with the actual entity, the Milky Way galaxy. But I've been doing the eclipses, major planetary transits, all sorts of galactic events since the 1998. And I just briefly want to tell everybody that in order to understand where I'm coming from, it's really important for people to understand that all planets, including the Earth, are live beings. They're an actual live being. They have a consciousness, they have a personality, and they all work together. And they all work together in their in their ascension process. So all of them, even the galaxy, and then you go beyond the galaxy, the Katarinah, which is a super cluster galaxy. I mean, you could just keep going out. But everybody is working together. They're all live and they're all working together. So when we get back down to the eclipses, all the planets in our solar system, I call them a neighborhood because they all work together, and they all are in sync celestially, because they know energetically what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and they line up. And so that's what happens in an eclipse. And before an eclipse, I usually can feel it like a week ahead of time. All the planets and celestial beings, because it's not only planets, it's divine celestial beings and the divine creator that's behind everything. So these planets, everybody that's working with this, they all start moving and getting into their position. And then when the actual eclipse happens, it is so cool because they all line up, and it becomes, and that's when the portal opens, when they all get into position, and it's like, and everything is lined up. And when that portal opens, that's when all the mystical, spiritual, galactic, cosmic, divine energy just comes pouring through, and it comes into our Earth, because everybody and all the planets are supporting the Earth now in this ascension, because the whole solar system is moving to a high vibrational frequency, including Earth. And we have to be aligned with the Earth in order to maintain our sanity, because we are evolving.
Everyone's evolving.
Everyone's evolving,
yeah.
Hopefully, along with the vibration of the planet, because if you're not, it'll be hard to stay here if it's in a high vibrational frequency of love, and everybody and people are walking around angry. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yes.
We're all getting to this high vibrational frequency. So this past eclipse, and there's always this cosmic alignment between the planets, and there's always the opening of a portal, and all sorts of stuff comes through, but it's always a mystical experience, a spiritual experience, a divine experience, and a cosmic experience. But you have to remember the divine creators behind it all. So in this particular one that we had last week, this hybrid solar eclipse, my experience was, now I sit there in prayer during most of it, in silence or praying. And I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just there
You're like
seeing
witnessing
and experiencing what's going on.
Got it.
And I could see the sun, and it's not as if I'm looking at the sun that we see it here. It's in the mystical realm. And the sun was big and full, like it was big and full, no color. It was no color. All I could see was kind of beigey gray. It's hard to describe, but the sun was big and full, and he was ready for this. Like he was really, really ready. And that he was heavy, big and full. So I know something major was going to happen. And then behind the sun, I could see and feel another celestial body like the sun that was also big and full right behind the sun. I didn't know what it was. I just,
yeah, you're watching,
right. Puny bystander,
right.
Watching all this. And so these two bodies are lined up. And the eclipse progresses as a partial, then it starts going into the maximum.
Sure.
And when it's in the maximum, that's when there's always something going on throughout the whole thing, even before the beginning starts, hours before. So when it hits the maximum, that's like the climax.
Sure.
And so when it started to get into the maximum, all of a sudden, the sun opened up, and I could see it was a beautiful golden orange color, beautiful, and it was light. It was like this room that was lit up, a beautiful golden orange color, and there were these little beings in there. Now, if I was looking in a room, I would say maybe they were 3 feet tall.
And this was different because you said all eclipses have that planets line up in unison and do their thing, but this eclipse was different because you saw
these beings. I mean, I always see, I have seen, like the divine feminine energy that came in last May. I mean, that has a divine essence. It was a divine feminine. It really was the energy of a divine feminine, like the divine creator, but the aspect that's feminine. So I've seen other beings, but this was a real physical, tangible, like a
real being,
a real little being. Its body was that beautiful golden orange, and I could see little like arms and legs, but their head and their body was all this beautiful light. And there were about 3 or 4 or maybe 5 of them, and they were all setting up. It was like they were setting up for a show or something.
Something important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a theater person, and they were like setting the stage, like props, getting things ready. It was, wow. And their energy was so sweet and so loving. And when they were working and there, I could feel like waves of this beautiful, sweet, loving energy coming out and coming to the earth. And it was just so magnificent. And I got to tell you, folks, the sun is a live being, and I've seen other beings in the sun. So this is not the first time, but I've never seen beings like this.
Or beings in an eclipse.
Not like this.
Not like this.
Not like this. They had a form. They had a form. Their golden orange light body, and I could see like legs and arms. That's the only way I can describe it. But they were setting up their props, and then after that kind of faded. And I got to tell you, this was otherworldly energy coming in. It was otherworldly energy. It was so magnificent. And then after that, the back of the sun, I just saw a gateway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry about that. That was just Brad Pitt calling, but I told him not to call during a podcast. But anyway, so we were telling you, so you saw this gateway.
After the beings set up there, what they were setting up, I saw in the back of the sun this magnificent light, and I knew it was into another dimension. I could see it, I could feel it, and it was interesting because it wasn't flat. It went up like an angle, like that. It just went up. The light, it just went.
Was this like another sun? I'm
No,
just curious.
I
Like,
don't
how
know
would
what
you-
it was, but the back, you know, behind the orange, you know, the image before kind of disappeared. I mean,
Okay.
they were in the forefront, and the back, that's what opened up.
Okay.
And that's why I felt it was a gateway, an opening.
Got
And then I saw this light, but it went up like an angle, like that.
Mhm.
No, it went up. The light went up like that, and it was so incredible. But I knew it was another dimension, and it was so interesting because I could feel this amazing other dimensional energy that has been opened up to us here. And as I was here on the earth, the energy around the earth just felt kind of flat and stale compared to this magnificent energy. It's like
What's
this,
coming in?
yeah, what's coming in.
Yeah.
And this is available to all of us. And it's really exciting because what's next? We have the lunar eclipse
Right.
next week.
Yeah.
And so
Be interesting what you see in that.
and it's
all
always
of us.
the eclipses, whether it's sun, solar first, lunar second, lunar first, solar second, or lunar, solar, lunar, it doesn't matter. They're always working together, and one will be a prelude or the other one will build on another, but
Yeah.
they're always together. It's
Yeah.
always together.
Like a cooperative story.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
something, anyway, it was definitely another dimension. So I just want folks to know that this energy is available to us, that this energy is available to us. And it's interesting. Now, because I told Erling this before, and she kept saying, and I want you to go into the astrological.
Yeah.
Meaning
I'm not allowed
of
to talk to her about Katarinah, you're not gonna believe what I see in the. No, don't talk to me, because yeah, the purity of the
Yeah, I don't.
But it's so important.
Yeah, I don't listen to the astrological prediction
right.
before, because I experience it on a mystical level, and it's a mystical spiritual level, and what you go into, because what you told me backed up what I saw.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, the big guns I saw, and the energy of these big guns, these big guns, the planets, they were so full, and I even wrote it down in my notes as it's happening. What did I say?
You say guns, you're talking about
The
spiritual,
the big
guns of light, not bad guns.
The big guns are lining up. That means
Right.
these heavy duty energies of the planet.
Yeah.
There's something heavy here.
Yeah.
And you said,
yeah, I was like, everything you shared with, this is why I wanted you to come on, because for two reasons. One is I think it's a part where we're all evolving in the world of the astrological community, is to more direct communion with planets. I'm such a nerd. I sit in front of a computer all day and I totally love one chart after another, but that can only take us so far. The real invitation is to go in like you do. And I'm working on that now. I have to get away from the computer. Help me, please. But to just spend more time in nature, just hearing it. But what I loved is that I knew you would, but everything that you shared is like what I saw in the chart. And what really rang a bell for me is when you were just saying about that the sun opened this gateway, and then there was this other light behind it. And I remembered, and I talked about this, if you haven't seen the Andrea Michelle video on the solar eclipse, is fabulous. We talk about the eclipse, the solar that just happened at 29 Aries, the ruler Mars was in Cancer, conjunct Sirius and the USA sun. So this has a very mystical import for the United States in particular, but of course the whole world. But the fact that it's lined up with Sirius, which is, they often call Sirius like the great central sun, or the sun of our sun. And it's the largest star in the heavens. It's got the biggest magnitude. And it was always a star, esoterically, a star of initiation. And on very, very, all cultures all over the world, in whatever indigenous culture for thousands of years, they've all worshipped Sirius. The Great Pyramid is aligned with Sirius. On all, we can go on and on, but every culture, Babylonians, Egyptians, the indigenous peoples, the Dogon peoples of Africa, everybody, right? So when you said that opening, that you saw this other, I don't know what, a light source, And I'm like, bingo, wow, maybe that's, I don't know. I'm just saying it could be serious. This is serious, folks. Take this seriously. But the fact that you saw that, I was like, oh my God, there it is. And you mentioned the word, even the wording you use, spiritual guns. Well, Aries rules guns, and you know, and Mars in its sign of, in the sign of Cancer is, strength, guns meaning like strength and standing up and being passionate and courageous to fight for comfort and security. But to me, it's like, it's the comfort and the security from the stars. That's our home. The things we find comfortable here are ending. Eclipse, right? Major endings, major beginnings. That's not real comfort. There's something here that you saw, and the feeling you got.
It was on the other side of the sun.
Oh.
Wow. It was on the other side of the sun. It was beyond our sun.
Other side of the sun. Wow.
It was beyond our sun. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking, when you said Sirius, you explained that to me, I was like, because I felt that other big, huge celestial being
Yeah.
behind the sun, heavy, big.
Yeah.
So that
Wow.
could be.
Yeah.
But
I just
it was
love how
just
your
beyond
stuff,
the sun.
your stuff always jives no matter what. It's like when you come out of that meditation and you like tell me what happened, it's like, whoa, that's amazing, Katarinah. It's like that. Yeah. So and that to me underscores how important it is to experience it directly. I guess just in closing, I would ask you, what advice would you give for somebody who is a nerd like me, who loves to look at charts and like get out in nature? How can we do this for ourselves? What would you recommend?
Definitely communing with the earth, communing, and lots of times, and I said this on one of my podcasts that I've done, but when you do, they call it grounding, when you lie on the earth. When I personally lie on the earth and you align yourself with the electromagnetic essence of the earth, and it balances our bodies, our human bodies. I personally feel that when I do this, I'm out there.
Wow.
Because I'm grounded here, and that enables me to go up.
Right.
And so then I'm able to go up. So I would say that's a really important thing for people, to just get grounded on the earth, because the earth is communicating with all these other planets.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Take your shoes and socks off.
Yeah, you have to take your shoes and socks off.
Yeah.
And another interesting point before we close is that there are live beings in the earth, in our earth. There are live beings in the sun. This is the second time I've seen beings in the sun. And I know that I've seen beings on Jupiter that live in Jupiter. So this is nothing unusual.
Right.
So for people to just be aware of that. It's so, if everybody really understood our relationship to the universe and to the divine creator, it would get us out of this
fear,
this temporary illusionary reality that we walk in, in the material world. I mean, the earth there's so much mystical energy on the earth when you go out in nature, etc. But just the understanding that we're connected to something bigger and vast, and it's so magical. That's what, if everybody recognized that and tuned into it and experienced it, we would have a different world, a different society. People would be so different.
To maybe take a few minutes every day and connect, even if it's 5 minutes, better than nothing.
Yeah, the most important thing is to
reset.
connect with nature, with the earth.
Yeah,
because she's our home. She's we're landed here right now.
Yeah, that to me is the real great reset. People talk about, oh, there's a World Economic Forum. It's like, no. The real reset is what you're talking about and we're talking about.
Yeah.
Your practice in spiritual messages, where can people contact you? Because I know you do you've helped me so much with my own process and seeing things. And I just wanted to share that. So
Mazar's clearing service. That's my website, MAZARS, clearing, like you're clearing the table, CLEARING service.
Okay, I'll put the link below. Yeah, awesome. Wow.
And they can email me. I got all the information. And yeah.
Book sessions. Yeah.
Oh, and if they go on the blog, I have recorded my experience with all these different cosmic events that we've had.
Oh, so you logged them in.
I logged them in, and,
oh,
then, and on
nice.
this website, I'm logged in for the last couple of years since 2020.
Wow.
So they'll see and have a better understanding.
Nice.
Even comets, you know, comets that come by, asteroids, they're all live, and they all have
something to say.
Yeah, and they all have personalities, and they're all live, and they all, you know, the one that we had recently, that big asteroid that went through really quick. I mean, it was phenomenal. Anyway, I know we're done. So
yeah, no, wow. All for now, but to be continued. I can't wait to hear about the lunar. To be continued. Yeah, the other part of that, the other bookend is coming next week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Air kiss. Mwah. Mwah. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, let us know, how are you doing? What have you experienced anything? Leave your comments below. And we'll talk soon. Mwah. Thank you so much for listening. This is Irliana Samsara and Katarinah Mazar, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.